Story number 4. Star Wars Ahsoka is here. And I'm actually gonna give you a little heat for this one because you sent me a text saying, "Hey man, Rebels is actually really good." Unbelievable.
Oh man, this is just so hard, man. So let's talk about this Ahsoka, man. This character, man, just popped during the animated Clone Wars, the animated series, right? And so it popped so much that now she has her own live action show. This is the original character from the mind of Dave Filoni, right? He's the architect of Star Wars now. But then I got wind that you had to know Rebels. And I was pissed at first. I'm like, man, I got to do some damn homework to watch a Star Wars movie. So I got a little pissy about that. But I buckled down. I found one of those little guides that say, watch these shows in these order and all that stuff. And I started getting to the story of it. I said, man, this was better show than I thought. Because I was not a fan of Clone Wars. I think I made that known a couple times on this podcast. And I get what they were doing with it. I just didn't like the animation. I just didn't like the retread of the Clone Wars. Attack of the Clones, the second in the
Yeah.
prequel series. So it was just like a retread to me anyway. The Clone Wars was. But then Rebels was cool because they were getting the lead up to what was going to happen. And they brought back a lot of legacy characters. So make a long story short, man, let's talk about Ahsoka reactions real quick. Do you think this will be a series that I don't think it's ready for, it's not for the mainstream, but does that even matter anymore? That's my hot take right now. Is this where Mandalorian was more accessible? Let's be honest, right?
Yes,
But
yes.
this is
Anybody can
probably
jump
one
into
of
the
the
Mandalorian.
yeah. And what was the other one they did? Did they do another one? Oh no, it was all Mandalorian, right?
Yeah,
Is
Book of
this, is
Boba
this the
Fett, if you
second season?
count that.
Yeah, Book of Boba Fett was Mandalorian. Let's be honest. But this is the first kind of one where they're going deep. Star Wars centric. I mean, you gotta be nerdy nerd. Doing this stuff, man. Oh wow, I didn't know a lot of this stuff until and you hinting at it. I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But now some of it's cool. I ain't gonna lie, some of it's cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this is a lot though, man. This is like literally pulling out books and doing a research paper
Yeah,
on.
once you start getting into the weird side of the Force, people flipped out when they saw the owl happening in earlier on when she got introduced. Yeah, I don't if you're wondering why the font is the way it is on the word Ahsoka, that's coming from old I wanna say I'll say glyphs, not hieroglyphs, old ancient Jedi glyphs, and that's written into her name. But then there's this whole Jedi, not a Jedi thing. Yes, there's a lot of history there. I'm glad that they did it. I think it's actually a good thing that it isn't mainstream. I think they need to re-bolster the fan talk, the underground talk, strengthen the base a little bit. If this was like Truth Social, it'd be like Lucas Social, the Star Wars Social. You want to get in there and get those real hardcore people talking again and not necessarily having to worry about the mainstream, the Disney side of things. So I'm glad it's doing what it's doing. I actually haven't jumped into it too much myself. I know some of the overall story things, and I did watch Rebels and all that leading up to it, but I haven't jumped into Ahsoka just yet. I'm getting not I'm not getting bad vibes from it, but I'm getting like people are like, "Oh, okay, we're going deep now. This is cool. I'm in for it." So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, man. When you got time traveling, spacefaring whales in Star Wars, man. The purple.
Yeah.
You know
No,
you're the
no,
deep end, bro.
yeah, no spoilers, but if you didn't know, in Star Wars, there exist time and space traveling whales. This is just an example. And I don't know if you've seen the memes. If you haven't watched it, if you've seen the memes of I didn't watch Rebels and I don't know what the hell is going on. That's
Okay, I gotta
that's
watch that.
true.
Yeah. That was me. That was me. They don't give you any
Wait, you
warning. They go
started
straight into it.
into it, and then you're like, "Wait, I
No,
gotta go
no,
watch
no, no.
Rebels," or what happened?
No, I heard enough. Because what happened was I knew it was coming. I saw some things. I was like, yeah, I gotta start watching it. Then shout out Chris Jensen. He texted me, oh man, I didn't know they're gonna bring back. I said, Chris, stop. I ain't seen none of that. So I had to go find one of those details. Season one, watch these episodes. Season two, watch these. Then I knew enough to get into Ahsoka. Then I went back and started watching some other ones. But like I said, there were some really good ones, like the whole, big main character in Rebels is Ezra Bridger. And
Mhm.
his story arc I thought was pretty interesting. And so what they did with it. And so, and just, you're right, man. Dave Filoni is really expanding. So two things he's doing. Number one, he's creating his own kind of mythos, right? And trying to make sense of everything, trying to make it all line up together. When did the Empire start from Clone Wars? And then how did we get the First Order and the Resistance? So he's trying to get those needles, right? But
Yes.
he's also going back in because you remember before Lucasfilm sold to Disney, they had all this Star Wars stuff out there. Remember, they
Mhm.
had this and that. And they remember when they brought it, they said, okay, all that stuff, that's just legend. It's
Yeah.
not canon, it's just legends. But he did that on purpose because now he can pick and choose stuff from the legends and slowly put it back in the way
Yes.
he wants it. Grand Admiral Thrawn taking a piece of this. And I remember Thrawn because I read that first trilogy. It was
Heir to
called
the
Heir to
Emperor.
the Empire, 1991. And that was like basically after the Battle of Endor. And that was like the first Star Wars books ever. And I was so excited about it. And they introduced him as like the top admiral. He was an alien crease species, super intelligent, and he was going to be the new enemy against Luke, Leia, and Han. And I love those series, but they threw it away, whatever. But they brought him back, and I think he's an excellent villain for Star Wars. But anyway, so that's what they're doing, man. And then I think Legends of the Old Republic, they're gonna bring some of that stuff back. And then they're trying to expand what it means to be the Force. And I think I dig that, man. It's not just Jedi and Sith because it
Well,
can't
yeah,
be. It has
it's
to be bigger.
weird. It's like this is stuff that we knew. Like, we knew there were other Force sensitives. We saw, like, the Sith going around, like, killing off people who were trying to use the Force and dark side of the Force and call themselves on the level, and we knew these people existed, and we knew, like, with the Bendu or whatever, there was good sides of the Force that just floated around, but they weren't Jedi. So we knew all
Mhm.
this, but what was interesting is how the story developed over time in the audience's mind, where I'd be sitting down talking and somebody would jump up in the comments in all caps, "Dude, you don't have to be a Skywalker to have the Force. Why can't they change that?" And I'm like, "Nobody ever said that. What are you talking about? Obi-Wan Kenobi's good with the Force. Who said the Skywalkers were the only one who had the Force? What are you talking about?" And but it's the narrative that gets told in the public consciousness, having to and this is an interesting storytelling method where you've said something, it's supposedly fact, but people in the way they're telling the story in their head have a completely different perception of it. And I'm sitting here like, Obi-Wan has the Force. He's not a Skywalker. Why is this an argument? And then dude keeps on going in the comments, dude, it's all about Skywalker. And I'm like, it doesn't have to be that way. And so to your point, I really like what he's doing, showing more sides of it. And the more you show, the more the understanding is there and the more the public narrative pushes along and makes a ton of money for Disney.
Yeah, it brings more nuance to the Force, right? Now they people who they can be Force wielders, but they don't have to be Sith. And even Sith, there's layers of Siths, right? And there's
Yeah.
layers of Jedi.
Sisters of the Dathomir.
Yeah, they're kind of doing their own thing, and then you got Ahsoka who tells you with very, very emphatically that she is no Jedi, right? So there you go. And the Mandalore, they got their own kind of version of a Jedi. Used to be a Jedi with their dark sabers. So yeah, they're trying to put all these different layers to it and try to expand upon the mythos. And so yeah, I'm there for it. But like I said, I don't know how accessible it is to like the simple story of Luke Skywalker and his family and his redemption of his dad. It's getting more complicated, and which I think it has to, number one, but is it going to be still popular as it has been? So I don't know.
Oh,
But you know
I
what?
don't know.
It's stuff
I
interesting.
I think you need a complicated base to make a simplified face. I just
Mhm.
came up with that. So, whatever.
Right
Alright,
there.
we good on this one?
Yeah, real quick. First impression so far, okay. We'll see how it goes, but maybe we'll check back in mid or end of the program
8
and see.
episodes, I
8
think?
episodes. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
every
alright.
week.
We'll come back after episode 8 is done, and we'll have a talk on that, so look for that one.